Bible has already told us the answer. That answer is we have sinned against a holy God. If you don't believe God takes sin serious, then why do you believe that every one of us must suffer death? My dear friends, when anybody you know dies, it's because there's sin in the world. Because we've sinned against God, we must all die. How terrible is death? Well, my dear friends, death is in the world because sin is in the world. And that is how awful sin is. My dear friends, every one of you will die. The question then becomes, what happens after we die? Many of you say, well, we just die. There's no God. There's evolution. Well, my dear friends, if there is a single person out there today that can give me one scientific evidence of evolution, please come give it to me. But don't come with your opinions, or don't tell me I should believe what Darwin said, or Richard Dawkins, or what a textbook said. I want you to give me evidence of evolution. But the reality of it is everyone who believes in evolution believes in what men tell them, because there is no evidence to evolution. There has never been any example of one kind of animal or person changing into another kind. You say, wait a minute, bacteria evolves into different types of bacteria. But guess what? At the end, it was still bacteria. You say, wait a minute, there's different breeds of dogs. At the end, there's still dogs. There is no such thing as Darwinian evolution. It is a lie. It was made up by a wicked man who hates God and who loves his sin. And those who believe it and hold on to it do it because although they know God exists, they do not want nothing to do with Him. The only one that will not believe in God is the one who hates God. To say that men made up God, the God of the Bible, is absolutely absurd. Think about it. Who wants accountability? Who wants a moral law of perfection? And you think people made this up? Absolutely not. What is made up is what these men make up today, evolution. Because then they can erase accountability. They can do all the wickedness that they love to do. And no one can tell them it's wrong because there's no God. If there is no God, then how can anybody tell me that it is wrong to murder children? Who makes that up? My opinion, your opinion is no different than mine. So where do we get our sense of accountability? Where do we get our sense of morals? They can't just come from society because society gets it wrong. Hitler killed 6 million Jews and brainwashed everybody that it was right. So we can't just say, oh, society gives it to us, or we just know. My dear friends, the one that gives us a sense of morals is God. Every one of you know that it's wrong to lie. Every one of you know it's wrong to steal. You know it's wrong to blaspheme the God who gave you breath. You know it's wrong to lust. It's wrong to fornicate. It's wrong to get drunk. You know it. Because God has written His law in your hearts. He has given you a conscience. Con means with, and science means knowledge. When you sin, you do it with knowledge that it is wrong. But yet you do it anyway. Therefore, on the day of judgment, you will have no excuse. You will be without excuse, my dear friends. You cannot say, well, I did not know, because you knew that it was wrong. You can't say, I didn't know there was a God. I needed more evidence. That's like me standing before this building and saying, I need more evidence that there's a builder. That is all the evidence I will ever need. If someone was to try to convince you this building did not have a builder, you would never be convinced if you're in your right mind. The building is evident that there is a builder. And creation is all the evidence you need that there is a creator. Many scientists say nothing created everything. Now, absolutely absurd. That is a scientific impossibility. Have you ever seen something make nothing make something? If so, you being something should be able to make something. If nothing can create everything. Can you give me a bird or a frog? Can you make me a tree? Of course not. Why not? Because you can't create things like that. Because there's one who already has. God. He alone is the creator. And my dear friends, many people think, oh, matter and all these atoms, they just exploded and here we are. Think about it. Have you ever seen any creation, any creation be smarter or more wise than its creator? Computers aren't wiser than men. They might have a lot of information in them, but they can't get up and walk and talk. They can't eat and drink. Of course not, because they're not as smart as the one who created them. If matter is what caused our creation, then why is matter not even as smart as we are? How come matter has no dominion over us? Why is that? Because it did not create us. One evidence that something has created another is it has dominion over its creation. My dear friends, we are too intelligent to say there's no God. Think about this. When a mother gets pregnant, her breasts fill up with milk. Now, that might not matter today because we can go to Kroger and buy a jug of milk. But then, in the old days, what did they do? They couldn't go to Kroger. How do they feed their baby? without food, their babies would die. Well, God put milk in the mother's breast so she could feed her baby. Now that's an accident, right? All by accident. Our eyes, there's so many nerves that have to be right in our eyes for us to see, yet it happened by accident. Or our planet, if one thing goes wrong in the universe, we can't even have life on Earth. Dude, why is it so perfect? Why are we so smart? Such intelligent creatures, if it was all by accident and there's no creature. If there's evolution, then somehow this creature pops up out of the sea, but what happens if that creature dies? We're back at square one with no creatures. Think about this. Have you ever seen two non-living things get together and make life? You can't take a couch and a sofa and get together and make a love seat. Nor can you produce humans out of that. Because non-living things do not produce life. There has to be one who has always been life. And the Bible tells us that Jesus is the life, the eternal life that was with the Father. And by Him all things were created, whether in heaven and on earth, whether thrones or dominions, whether things visible or invisible, all things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things. That is how it all got here, my dear friends.